Three, two, one, go!
Check it out.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, everybody?
Hello, that what up was something that I wasn't expecting.
That's all good. Coming in with the energy, coming in hot tonight.
That's what's up. That's what's up. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little tired, but you know, I get energy when it's time to do our show.
Yes, I do too. I definitely do as well. What a great week it was. Celebrating my birthday.
Whoop-de-woo.
Yes, that was amazing. Was it last week? Was my birthday last week?
No, it was this week. No, yeah, it was last week.
It was last week. Yeah.
Yeah, it was last week.
Yes. So it was last week. We didn't come on because of that, because we were still very much still in celebratory mode for my birthday, but super grateful for all the shout outs, the calls, all the things, and just really appreciative for another year at life.
Yeah. Once you can see another year to do things better this year than you did last year, to accomplish goals, that's always a blessing. Round of applause. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You want to tell the people how old you are?
No, that's not necessary.
I'm just saying, people might be asking questions. They might want to know.
That's good. I'm glad that they ask questions. Doesn't necessarily mean that they need to have answers to those questions. But we are also celebrating a birthday for you that's upcoming for this week.
No, next week.
This is the end of the week.
Oh yeah, the upcoming week.
Next week. Yeah, the week that's coming. We're celebrating your birthday as well. So
yeah, shout out to me. Thank you very much. I don't know what I'm gonna do on that day. I don't know if I should take the day off, or I think I'm gonna just go to work and just
definitely take the day off.
Nah, it's just another day.
When you were born, it wasn't just another day.
Just another day.
So many
just
things
another
happened.
day. Just another day in the neighborhood. Dun, 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 dun.
All right. And so
Should I just be cutting me off?
I'm not sure what's happening. But welcome back to another episode of Carlene plus Jaime, where we essentially are a couple. We're a couple who just thrive in the real.
Yeah.
And I think as we continue to, I guess, curate this space, we kind of want to focus on creating a platform, continue to create a platform where we have, where we tell our story, share information that we wish was shared when we got married.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of aiming to keep it real all the time. And so this topic that we have coming up tonight is one that we're going to keep it as real and funky as possible.
You keep telling them you're going to keep it real.
Oh, sorry.
You're aging yourself.
Shrug.
Keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real talk.
Yes. And so I want to first go ahead and ask that you subscribe to our channel. For those of you who have already subscribed, we appreciate the love. But if you can just go ahead, for those who are new to the space, if you can go ahead and give us a sub, we would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Ain't gonna cost you nothing. You know it's free. And you know the content is good too. So just subscribe. We appreciate it. And we appreciate all our subscribers that have been rocking with us. I think we're at 775, which is, which is a big number for us, because I think we were just rocking with like 100 at one time before we started really taking this seriously. So for the 775, we appreciate you. We thank you for rocking with us. And for those that will be subscribing today, we appreciate you too.
So we're going to go ahead and dive right into our topic as we're going to talk about, what are we talking about?
We are talking about why you should never tell your friends about your marriage problems.
Never, ever, ever, ever.
Ever, 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 ever. Yeah. We are that couple that you wish you had when you were about to get married. And we're going to put you on the game on how important it is to protect your marriage and not put all your business out there on Front Street.
So I think it is almost I guess it's sometimes spoken and sometimes not spoken in some spaces, where sharing information about your marriage is something that's kind of a no-no. Grew up in a culture environment where, you didn't share much. Not that you didn't share much, but knowing that like when it came to any marriage problems or issues, it would be something that would only be kept between you and your spouse.
Right. But we live in a shared society. We live in a society where no matter what you are going through, you share it. And because it's so accessible to share now, it's turn on your phone, turn on your camera, and I think people use social media, treat social media like a therapist or like a counselor or like a place to get advice on everything versus prior to the advent of these computers in our pockets. I think we just went and just told our friends.
Or not even, where you're talking about in general.
Right, in general.
As it relates to marriage, I don't think that was something that was done often, where people wouldn't put their marriage out on Front Street, like ever. You kind of are suffering silently, where, marriages that you thought were perfect weren't, you hear that, they're divorced or they're separated, it looks like they're having issues or whatever. That is, I feel, when you start to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that there were any problems or at all, because they just painted a really good picture.
Yeah. And I think also too that before, like sharing on the internet, people were sharing, like when you go meet up with your homeboys or you meet up with your homegirls or you're on the phone complaining about your significant other.
But that's the thing, that is a no-no.
Right. That is a no-no. But I think people have always been doing that.
Possibly. But again, I'm sure people have probably been doing that, but it's something that is not encouraged in some communities.
Correct.
Where you are almost, again, suffering in silence.
Right.
And so I remember when we got married, that was something that was shared with us, essentially, that we should not tell anyone if we're going through, if there are any problems. It's something that we keep between us. And I think we have come on here before a few years back where we had a similar conversation, and we talked about like how important it is to keep your problems between you and your spouse for a number of reasons.
Now, was that something that you think we were taught, or that's just something that we did?
No, that's something I remember it being explicitly told to us.
In counseling?
Just told to us, whether it's counseling or I just remember hearing it said a number of times that we do not do that.
I don't remember it being said, but I know that naturally we're just not sharers. I know I'm not a sharer, and you know that I don't share a lot. But I don't know if I vividly remember having someone tell us that to not share, but I can understand if someone told us that. And I think I also learned that through pastoring, like as a pastor, and just really trying to protect us and protect your identity and protect our marriage, to not share certain things about our marriage with other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the part that I remember hearing was a lot of times you would go to whomever and share the issue or the problem that's happening between you or your spouse. And then what happens is that person, you and your spouse may have worked out that thing between each other, but now that friend, that family member, whomever, can sometimes have still carry the heaviness or the weight of whatever the issue is. Like you have moved on as a couple, but those individuals may not have moved on. And so I think that is what I remember hearing, why you shouldn't share any problems or anything like that with anyone outside of your marriage.
Right. Right. Yeah, I can agree to that. And I think also too, for me, it's always been, I don't, like I don't need anybody looking at you in a certain way, or anybody, and that can be my best friend or whomever it may be, to be looking at you in a sense or a way is like, man, I know they were going to have problems, or I know they got problems. So I think that's another way of just like, I think it's more so, it's definitely protecting your marriage, but it's also protecting your spouse. Mm-hmm. And then people may get ideas, right? Because you don't even know. Some people, you don't know who that person, if you tell that person, how they may tell somebody else.
That's right.
Right.
And so I think that very interesting. I think that you have to be very discerning in what it is that you share. And of course, not sharing everything. But I think that there should be a community, whether it's, I'm not saying a large amount of people, but I think you should have community enough that if you are going through something that it's coming to a point where, you're going to marriage counseling, and you've prayed all the prayers that you can possibly pray, but you just kind of need someone to confide in. You kind of need someone to help bear that burden. I think you have to be very mindful and prayerful about who those individuals or who that individual is.
So let me ask you this question. So do you think that those individuals, should they be older than you? Should they be someone who's been married longer than you, somebody who's been divorced? Or can they be somebody who is at the same stage that you are at?
I think, I don't think you should box yourself in to that, like to say, oh, I'm the only person I'm going to talk to is someone who is such and such. I don't think you should limit the spirit ability to move and work and sometimes speak through that person that has been praying, or that person that's prayerful, because just because they're older doesn't mean that they're necessarily praying. They might be preying, right? But not praying to God, interceding on your behalf. They may be secretly or silently happy because you're having issues. I don't think it should be limited to age, gender, well, maybe gender, but age, or how long they've been married, or if they're single or whatever. Of course, a single person sometimes cannot, but it depends on what the situation is.
Yeah. And what do you feel like, are there boundaries to what you share?
Absolutely. There should definitely be boundaries. But again, I think you should know the spirit. You should know the person that you're sharing whatever it is that you're sharing with. You have to know them and know their walk with God.
Right.
Yeah, like not pretending, or like they've walked with you in other paths, on other roads, right? In this life. And so you just want to make sure that those individuals or that individual is aligned with you and God, most importantly.
Right.
Because then what's the point of sharing?
I sometimes I think some people, I don't know. That's a good question, but I think maybe sometimes people just want to get stuff off their chest because they're not having that kind of communication or they're angry at their partner. So they just talk to somebody, right? And I think it's also important to know that I know that I can't talk to everyone about everything. Like there's different people that you talk to about certain things and that you have to be very mindful, like you said, about what you share, who you share it with. And at the end of the day, is this going to help us or is this going to hurt us?
Correct. I think long-term is definitely something that you should think about anytime you are considering wanting to share an issue or a problem that you're having with your spouse. Because I just feel like that this connection is sacred. It's something that you have to be very mindful and careful about it. And again, I think at the core of what it is that we're trying to share is that not every friend that you think is for you and your marriage is for you. It's like really being able to vet and discern what to share with who. Because not everyone is going to do what it is that you want them to do with the information.
Yeah.
Keep it to themselves, bring it to the Lord in prayer on your behalf. They're like really interceding on your behalf for God to show up and show out. Not for you to hear it from another source, or not for them again to be mad or angry and basically talking bad about your spouse, right? Like, even though you may have issues or problems in your marriage, that there's a very, very fine line that you tread, even in those spaces, because you're just like, wait a minute, you cannot, I could be mad at Jamie, but you and I can't be mad. You can't be mad where you're talking about him in a negative way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a very fine line that you have to tread if you choose to share something about your spouse that it doesn't necessarily make them look good. Right.
Right. I think, like you said, I think it's all about how you share, right? Like I can share something about you and I could paint a picture of you in a negative way. And I can share something about you in a positive way. And I can come at, if I'm looking at or talking to somebody about advice, I can paint that picture in a way that is, blah, 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 to speak to my wife about, how whatever she does in the morning. I'm just saying that to say is that it's how you paint your spouse. You could paint them in a negative light or you could paint them in a positive light. And I think anytime you talk to anybody about your spouse, it should always be painted in a positive light, not in a negative light.
Very true. I agree. I understand what you're saying now. My apologies for.
Yeah, you just right.
No, it just seems as though you were painting a picture, a negative picture. But I understand the example you were using. Right,
you ready to come down my throat? I was like, let me finish for a second, so that I could get it out. But yeah, so I think at the end of the day, it's always about how do you protect each other. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. How do you protect each other, and how do you keep the sanctity of your marriage?
Yeah,
right.
And protect your bedroom.
Yeah, I think it's all important that just being mindful of whatever it is that you share. That again, that you are sharing. When you decide to share, or if you decide to share, it also should be something that that you know who it is that you're sharing it to. I've had friends who've shared things with me, right? And so I hold them dear to my heart. I hold them close to my heart because I know that when they do share, that I am truly prayerful about it. I truly am not in, I'm not doing anything more than what it is that they are needing in those moments at that time. And so even sometimes when they are just sharing just to kind of share, I'm just like, I'm still prayerful about it. Like I'm still taking it to the Lord in prayer for them on their behalf, interceding. And yeah.
Yeah. And here's an absolute no-no too, right? Like if you share something about your marriage to your friend and then your friend goes and talks to your spouse about what was shared, like that can cause serious problems in your marriage, especially too if you haven't told your spouse or your spouse doesn't know that you talk about this to somebody else, right? And so then that friend decides like, yo, I'm gonna talk to your wife. Or if you like, I would be irate if there was something I did and then you spoke to your friend about it, and then your friend comes to talk to me about what I need to do in order to make the marriage better. I think maybe I won't be irate. I don't know. What would you be? Would you be mad?
Mm-hmm. I mean, to a certain extent, it depends on who it is. I think it depends on who it is. Again, I think it all comes down to who is it that you're sharing it with? Do I have a relationship with this person? Is it a mutual kind of relationship where the relationship is on the same level as you? It's like a community relationship versus like it's your friend coming to me and talking to me about myself or whatever. That's a no. But I think it all depends on the dynamic of the relationship.
Yeah. And your spouse should always know who you're talking to about the relationship. So I think like it's important for me to know if you have, like, who are you talking to about our relationship? And it should be an agreement between both of us. Because I wouldn't want you talking to somebody about our relationship that I necessarily don't trust.
Right.
And vice versa. Right. Because, and then also too, it's important that we talk about what we talk about to other people. So I think like if it's a case where if the mentoring couple that we have, that you might go and talk to them and share some things. And if they came and spoke to me, then maybe I'll understand it better than just some random, your homegirl or your random friend that I'll be like, oh, snap. What else have you said to this person?
Yeah. And I think I like the piece that you just mentioned. I like the piece where it talks about like where you said that if you have a mentor. So there's a difference or mentoring, a mentoring couple where it's a couple that kind of mentors, or like the wife mentors or the husband mentors in different ways. I like that piece because I feel as though mentors aren't necessarily, I don't know, there's a deeper level to the friendship, or there's a deeper level to the connection. Like when you are connecting with a mentor where we're talking about how to make our marriage better, I think that space is curated to just focus in an intimate but very confidential way about your marriage.
Right.
So if you were to share, I would advise sharing with a couple, a mentoring couple, opposed to your friend that you talk to every day or you talk to every now and again and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. No, I agree. I think that what we said is like, I think what's important is that you have to know who you can talk to about what. And you talk to some people about career advice. You talk to some people about fashion. You talk to some people about cars. And I think that but when it comes to a point where it's sharing something about your relationship, you and your spouse have to agree together on who you want to share some things with. Now, I know sometimes when I'm with but I think, like if I'm with, my best friend or my core friends, I'll probably say things about our marriage, but those things are always like, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Yeah, this little hiccup, but it's nothing in depth or too deep,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that I feel like needs to be shared.
Gotcha.
Right. Like what we're dealing with personally between ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think this conversation has been really great as we've just kind of talked through like why it's important not to share with your friend, but taking a little bit deeper, why you shouldn't share with just any friend, why you shouldn't just, you know, you're in your conversations with your friends as you're talking about makeup or you're talking about the game or you're talking about whatever, that you're divulging, you know, sensitive information about you and your spouse, the issues or problems. And of course, we want to also go ahead and make the disclosure, even now, I forgot to make it before, how important it is to go to a marriage therapist. If you are having issues or problems, sometimes, most of the time, friends don't necessarily solve it, right? Like your friend that's just, you just saying or just trying to get it off your chest, like they don't necessarily solve it. But if it's something that's deeper, something that really is beyond just a conversation between a friend, that you should definitely go. And we encourage marriage therapy.
Absolutely. Marriage counseling, marriage therapy, whatever you want to call it. I think it's important prior to marriage and during marriage to do that. Even if there isn't anything, you know, necessarily bad or negative happening, I think in any ways that you can strengthen your marriage, you should definitely go for it. And also to surround yourself as much as possible with healthy relationships and healthy examples of, you know, of love, of respect, that you can bounce off of that and get that energy so that you can mimic it in your own relationship.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So this is kind of like an ongoing conversation that we'll be talking about with you, our audience. One of the other things that we want to talk about in our next episode is sometimes when you're having issues, marital problems, or maybe you both may be dealing with life, right? At the same time, like how to navigate that space or those spaces in a healthy way, how to collectively and individually try to still be able to keep each other when life is doing this topsy-turvy. And so we have a testimony or we have something that we would love to share with you guys next week. If you come on back next week about Friday, I think we air Friday at 8.
Yep. I don't have 8 fingers.
Okay.
Around one hand.
Eastern Standard Time. But thank you so much. We hope that this conversation, you gleaned a little bit more about what not to do, but also what to do if you are choosing to share anything about the issues in your any issues in your marriage. Any final words for our audience? Yeah,
just like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit us up. You know, we got our email, carleneplusjamie@gmail.com. You can send us an anonymous email. I don't know how you'll do that, but you can send us an anonymous email if there's a topic that you want us to tackle. We'll be glad to take a look at it and present it on maybe one of our episodes. So yeah, I think that's dope.
Yes. So this is your girl, Carlene.
And it's your boy, Jamie.
Peace.
Peace.